It's most important. Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I was the first 7, 8 years didn't have any help with business whatsoever. The only thing I did
Mm,
to get more money is become a better coach. But I see people
mm.
now, like in lots of business, almost every business I'm a part of, I see people now frustrated they're not getting leads. Like, you don't have a product. You wouldn't
Yeah.
expect this from anyone else, right? You wouldn't have someone that's like, I'm here to get my hair cut. I've seen a great ad online. Oh yeah, I don't own any scissors, but I'm glad you're here. Give me loads of money. Like it's the only job in the world where people don't have to prove they can do what they said they're going to do before learning how to market it.
Yeah, mate. I mean, like literally everything I've worked with yourself and with like the business mentor to create the power up program and go through the
Mm.
different phases to make sure that okay, these guys at this phase and make it like a whole program and make it like yeah, even things like taking silly things, but like if they're in a real shit state and they're going through my foundation stage, I'm gonna take the blood pressure. If they come into me fit and healthy, I couldn't give a flying fuck about it. Like
Mm.
it's probably not that bad. They're probably not that
I,
stressed if they're
yeah, it depends. Like if you listen to someone like Luke Lehman, he'll talk about like blood pressure being the be all and end all. And I'm don't be wrong.
mm,
I think in theory everyone should take blood pressure because just because someone's fit and healthy does not mean they haven't got high blood pressure.
yeah, you can do it
Right?
so often.
Luke Lehman tested a bunch of coaches in a room, but obviously just probably just eaten and caffeinated up, but they all had high blood pressure. Like, so I think in theory, yes, everyone should be taking blood pressure with every client. Having said that, there are so many things that impact blood pressure readings.
Yeah.
Like, had a stressful morning, bad night's sleep, had more sodium in the diet, woke up late, in a rush, caffeinated, eaten. Like where the
Yeah.
blood pressure cuff sits.
Yeah, I've got a guy that literally was like every time he reads it, he like gets really, really scared about having high blood
Mm.
pressure because like he had a traumatic injury where like he had I think his appendix burst and like literally yeah nasty shit right and because he was on like the bed and everything on that it almost flashes back to it so then like he gets like really traumatic about it so like I
Well,
was
white coat
just
syndrome. Yeah, exactly.
yeah
I get
yeah
white
yeah
coat syndrome.
so
Like,
so
who
like
goes into
interesting
as blokes? Who's as blokes? Who no one goes. I think girls probably too, but certainly as blokes, people only go to the doctor's surgery when they think they're dying or something. What's that going to do to your blood pressure, right? Like,
yeah yeah but
it's a
it
hard
did
one
make me
to.
think. It did make me think about more about the process of things, like how I'm going through it, what I'm actually looking for, and like
Yeah,
actually having a product that takes someone from A to B that is then sellable. But it's taken me 9 years of figuring this shit out, and then jumping on with people that are way smarter than me and how to market that as well.
yeah.
Because I've had it.
I don't think there's a. I generally don't think there's a shortcut to that. I
No.
think there's an element of like some people make some quick money, but I generally think that 9 years, 9 years is about the right time before you start figuring this out. Truly, you know. Shona, how are you? You can tell Scotland's getting cold because you're wearing more layers per call.
I'm so cold. I just can't get warm.
Like you like got a woolly hat on, a coat. I think there's another woolly layer under there. Big old
Two
over the head,
jumpers. Two jumpers, yeah.
and doing cardio.
Ridiculous.
Love it. Carol, how are we? It's cold where you are, down the road, 20 minutes down the road.
Yeah, it's cold. I don't know. I came back from holiday and I'm ill all the time. It's freezing. I hate this weather.
It's probably not the cold, though, right? Do you know why people get ill on holiday all the time?
Relaxing.
It's because their nervous system's fried. So like people think they go, clients go, I never ever 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 get ill, and I've got a really good immune system, and they go on holiday and they immediately get ill. It's because the symptoms don't come from the illness. The symptoms come from your immune system trying to attack the illness. So you're probably getting all these viruses, but never actually feeling the symptoms. Um,
Uh,
so, and to answer your question, Shona, maybe too much near shot. And now should I poke head on the door and wondering what I'm talking about now? Uh, but you can read it. Right, guys, we've got a good number of us now in here. So as always, put how many clients on the roster you have in the chat. I want to know what's outside Will's window. Will got very excited about something then. Don't crash on my
Yeah,
behalf.
my boss was walking past me, and I let him walk and not driving.
Yeah, don't run into him. How many people we got, guys? Stick some numbers in. Normal Tuesday morning status check. 20 online, 7 in person. Nice. 7 online, and about 7 million in group training. I do need to pick your brains on group training. The gym I'm going to be doing some work in Miami and start of the year is wants to lean more into semi-private. So not quite as big as your groups, but I could use some advice on ways of making it workable. 22 clients, 7 online, sweet. 14 in person, 6 online, sweet, good. 5 online, cool. But guys, so for people to put those numbers in the chat, tell me how many have a clear goal, how many are on track, how many are off track. And remember, as always, we're looking for that 1 in 4 as a minimum. When I say 1 in 4, 1 in 4 really good results, like social media worthy results. 2 or 3, they'll do all right, they'll be happy. I'll give you a good Google review. And then 1 bumblebee for every 4. You've changed the business now, Shona. It's an official term. Everyone's using it. We got a few of these in. We'll open the floor. Probably at 3 out of 7 on track, 4 needing engagement. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a tricky time to do this, right? So it's at the start of December. This is the time where we can get some people on calls. And I would start looking, not booking at goals for December, start looking at booking goals for January, right? So like get ahead of the game, start booking what people want to do in that end of Q1. And then December just becomes an extension. We're not putting any pressure on people. If anyone's watched a Christmas call, we're not putting any pressure on people on December, because if you do, they're gonna want to reserve themselves from the process, or when they fuck up, they're gonna ghost you. If you can set goals for end of Q1, they will also regulate nutrition, because half of their mind is thinking about what's to come. Training goals are good over December, because it keeps people training hard and keeping active and keeping focused. 20 on track with goals, 2 a bit MIA. Is the 2 MIA December, Christmas MIA, and they'll likely be back?
But just not speaking. I don't know. Christmas, I suppose. They've got kids, I understand. Yeah, so I don't know what to do with these 2, but they'll not go anywhere. They'll stay, but they're just a bit MIA, not messaging back, not doing their check-ins. I think they've checked out now for Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, I think when you look at that, you're looking at, okay, what open questions can I ask? It's difficult when you try to do it over WhatsApp. You don't want to come in with a random open question. Like, you need to almost have that bit of back and forth first. Like, I think with those people, it's more like, if you do get a little bit from them, it's just sort of like ask as many open questions as you can to find out how they're feeling around this time of year. It's a mentality around Christmas. Like, you're not putting the pressure on them; they're putting the pressure on themselves. Like, I don't think you're telling them not to have Christmas parties, not to have chocolate, not to have mulled wine. But in their head, they're assuming that Shona's going to say that, so I'd rather just not have the conversation. They're putting pressure on themselves. Well, it might not be even they think you're going to say that. They just don't want to disappoint you. This is a way of them looking up to you. So even if it's just like, you could send even if it's not, even if it's just them, send like a broadcast message to all your clients of like, really lighthearted. What's the plan for Christmas, guys? I've got this, this, and this, and just highlight the good things. Don't say, get up in the morning, do squats on the Christmas day. But look, my picture of my Ferrero Rocher fucking pyramid and go, look, ready for Christmas? What you guys got planned? And just see if that gives them a little bit of a trigger. That could sometimes work. All with goals, 15 on track. Love that. All of goals, 15 out, 23 on track. 1 MIA, 1 bumblebee, 1 new starter. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, guys, so pretty much everybody's got most people on track. Most people have clear goals now, which is good. That's always the first step, right? There's one thing that I find when anyone comes into this program that transforms their business fast is having clear goals. The fact that pretty much everyone have clear goals now, that's the first step, because that's what you refer back to when people go MIA. That gives you the best opportunity. Cool. Guys, open floor. Don't all rush in. Feel free.
Got a bit of an interesting one. I got a client who's had a thyroid completely removed.
Okay.
And very much struggles to lose weight as a result. She is on hormones to help with it, but obviously finds it very limiting. She was on, for the longest time, 1,200 calories a day. And, things still aren't shifting. Again, I truly do trust her that she's on 1,200. Obviously, can never have 100% trust in it, but even so, even if she's saying 1,200 and she's hitting 1,600, 1,700, she's a fairly large lady, so should be losing. Have you got any suggestions of how we can best?
So it's tricky. The first thing you want to do is make sure because that's the very much out your scope. So you want to maybe work with doctor, endocrinologist.
Yeah.
There's going to be two. There's three sides to this, right? There's one. She's very I appreciate the trusting nature of this, but again, if you hear hoofbeats, think horses, not zebras. She's a fairly large lady. She didn't get that by accident, right? So if she's all of a sudden gone from eating whatever, got to the point where she wasn't happy about her weight, to now I'm just completely on it. These things don't happen overnight, so just be aware of that. So that's obviously even still get food pictures, still have a look at things, still cross-reference stuff, still be brutally honest with it. I think if you're new, and this goes for everybody, if anyone's new to taking food photos, right? If you've got can get to a point where you can good eyeball a portion size, stick it into ChatGPT and ask them to estimate the calories, add about 5-10% to what it gives you, and you've probably got a realistic expectation. So that's thing one. Second thing, if she's had her thyroid removed, that if let's say you think maintenance calories is here, it's going to shift it. So she might have to go lower if the goal is to lose weight. And almost in a way, you have a little bit, I don't want to say license to grind people a little bit more when it comes to food, but one of the biggest things, the reasons why going really low calorie is bad, because it impacts thyroid output. Her thyroid is now completely controlled by medication. So I'm assuming she's going to be on T3. You want to check do you know what medication is? I'm assuming it's T. If it's not T3, I don't understand.
Yeah, I believe it would be. She's not really said. I've not really got to that point with her yet, but yeah.
It'd be a question, because even though that sounds totally mental that someone would give someone T4, they don't have a thyroid gland. I have seen it. So you'd be maybe just looking at what the dosage is. For people that don't know what I'm talking about there, so you've got T4, which are inactive form of thyroid. That's sort of what's most abundantly made. We make a little bit of direct T3, but most of what we make in our thyroid is T4. And then in the cells, T4 will convert into T3. Other than that, other than dosage and just double checking food, I don't know how much else that you can really do with someone's had their thyroid removed. If she's had a low thyroid, then we can play around with things like iodine, selenium, see if she's deficient in those. We can potentially look at reverse T3 when it comes to stress. But they're not going to impact the thyroid directly if it's just she's getting exogenous hormones. So it's just making sure the medication is where it needs to be to achieve the goal she wants, and make sure that she's not over consuming. Yeah. And that's a really bullshit answer. I know that's
no, but I didn't think there would be much, but I kind of just obviously just wanted to check whether there was anything we could do in order to make it kind of a bit more of a smooth sailing process. But again, like I said, she is under guidance, obviously, from doctors and whatnot for it, but just checking if there's anything from my side that I can do differently to kind of push forward.
Ramp of activity, get really active.
Yeah, she definitely ramp up.
Steady state stuff, probably stuff that's not going to affect the nervous system.
Yeah.
Because do you know what she had a thyroid removed?
I don't know the reasoning. She was quite vague. I know she had cancer at one point, so I don't know whether it was. I think she said it was radiation. Radiation caused the thyroid.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's tricky. Again, it's so much without a scope, but I'm not an expert in radiation therapy and cancer. And also the thing that's the thing with that, so you wouldn't want to. I don't know if she's still going through. I assume she's not still going through it, but if she was, she wouldn't want to be supplemented with iodine anyway.
No, she's been out in remission for 10 years, I think. So she's been quite a long time.
Well, that's good. Okay. Yeah. There's still probably going to be some residual stress in the body that knocks you for 6. So again, it could just be emptying the stress cup, maybe some steady state stuff. Managing training volume accordingly, and then just be really diligent with those. So just set expectations that it might be slower. That's unfortunate, but it's she's it's what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is going, but it's just very, very, very slow. And again, I do again as much as you can trust someone to track properly.
Have you had photos from her?
Yeah, what physique or food?
Food.
Yeah, food. Yeah. Yeah, and they, again, visually, on the assessment, it is pretty well balanced.
7 days a week. You've done a full week. You've done weekends. Everything?
Yeah, I've done a couple of weeks like this. Rate of loss per week. She was literally for about 2 months she was stagnant, completely stagnant, no drops. She then had probably, I think it was about half a pound per week. if not, yeah, it was
How
a
much she
very. She's 120.
So
120
you'd be
kilos.
looking at somewhere between 0.6 and 1.2, but if she was completely healthy.
Yeah, so it's kind of, if you were to look an average across like a 6 month period, probably the drop probably is like less than £0.5 a week.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have, obviously, like I said, stagnant weeks and stuff.
Still shows she can lose it though.
Sorry, yeah, no, definitely, and it's definitely not been like dead stop, but it's just if there's anything we can do to kind of manipulate it further to make it more.
It might be worth having the conversation with the doctor that's administering her T3 and just like let her know what the goals are. Like he might go, it's not worth it. Like if that's down to him. Like he'll know more about this than we will. But like he might be giving her enough just for like normal dosage, but there might be a different conversation. Going, look, I want to lose a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
And see what they say for that. Like there's so much because there's so much stuff you can do to impact thyroid with nutrition and activity. If the thyroid's removed, I couldn't know and all conscious of say for certain. I don't see any mechanism why these things would work. Like going a slightly higher carb diet, looking at certain foods that helps thyroid production. If you haven't got one, it seems pretty pointless. But I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah. No, I'll have a chat with her, and obviously, like I said, get in contact with whoever's administering them and make sure we're kind of reading the same book and trying to make sure it's all kind of on the same page.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Hopefully it gives you go to a little bit. No problem at all. Cool. Anything else, guys? I hope so, because it's only 9:20.
that client that started, mate, let me get up because she sent me her medication. I'll tell you what she's got at the moment. Let me get a type form up, mate. So I'll give her
endometriosis.
No, she's actually flying, mate. She's fucking killing it at the moment, which is really good, and that's not really affecting it. I think we're like a stone down. She's like 5 inches off her waist, and like her pain levels haven't gone above that 2 out of 7 since she started.
Amazing.
So yeah, I knew kind of it would happen. Like, you know how some people come to you and they're using that as a crutch, and I'm like, I'm kicking that underneath you right now. Fuck off, let's go. Because that's the way I'm built. Like, if there is a genuine problem, we'll work around it. But like a lot of the time,
you'll find out by trying, won't you? It's the only way you find out.
Exactly that, mate. Where is she? Hold on a second. Let me find the message. So she's on Ramipril. Fucking hell. Okay. If you think you're pronouncing bad, mate, wait for this.
How do you spell that? How do you spell that first one?
RAMI.
Yeah.
PRIL.
Okay.
Right. And then there's amlodipine.
My blood pressure. Okay.
Yeah. Amlodipine.
How do you spell that one?
AML.
Yeah, got it, don't worry. Okay, so high blood pressure.
Bisoprolol.
Lol. Oh my gosh, she's on a lot. Oh my god, they've given her the thing coming. How'd you say that one again?
BISO.
BISO.
Yeah. PISO. PROLO.
Oh god, they've given her absolutely the kitchen sink. Okay, right. Let's have a look at these.
Wait, there's more.
Oh my Jesus Christ,
all right.
man.
Evocell oxygen patch.
Okay,
and progesterone capsules. So Evocell is EVO cell spelled normally. Estrogen is OE estrogen spelled normally. Patch, and then progesterone capsules.
Patches and then progesterone capsules. Okay, right. Okay. So some of these are menopausal, some of these are blood pressure.
Yeah. They're the two main ones she's medicated for. She's also got very heavy flow, which is for me quite not too much of a problem in the sense of, okay, there's going to be times where you're going to be fatigued. There's times where you're probably going to need to double dose iron quite a lot as well because of the blood flow and metals. That's fine. She's used to that, but it could just lead to some fatigue, which is understandable. Yeah. She's also got a kidney problem as well. So I'm unsure of that. I'm digging down and asking more questions around this, but it was more along the lines of anything that I supplement her from the big four, would that clash with any of the medication that she's currently taking?
You definitely have an issue with omegas.
Definitely won't, or definitely will.
No, you won't at all.
Yeah, cool.
I don't think you'd have an issue with magnesium.
I mean, I didn't think that either.
I doubt you would with B vitamins. Zinc, maybe. The only thing you want to think about is obviously like supplements in general will go past the liver. She hasn't got a liver issue, but the kidney's obviously taken a bit of a battering, which I'm not surprised with the amount of laundry list of things they put on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like things for me, like I'm not putting it on a high protein diet. I'm keeping that quite moderate. I'm keeping it quite high fat, like fairly
that's
moderate.
wise.
I'm also
I'd say the Mediterranean reset, like moderate, high fat, moderate carbs, moderate proteins, probably the best bet for this.
Yeah, so like, I'm supplementing with her omega-3s, and she's also got she's got like an omega-3 batch in the morning with pumpkin seeds and some other bits as well to kind of dose that. Just fiber, mate. Just fiber in a diet. Like she drinks and she smokes.
Okay, yeah, there's a calcium channel blocker. Interesting. She getting chest pain?
No, but I can ask that.
Does a vasodilator? So I'm assuming there's an issue with sodium retention, which would make me think there's probably some blood sugar issue. Yeah, I think the Mediterranean reset diet's your best bet, and a lot of stuff is the basics, right? But what we got in the chat, hopefully someone's coming in. She thinks some smokes. Talk about adding fuel to the fire. Yeah.
Oh yeah, showing up. Yeah, when someone comes to you like, I've got my work cut out.
Yeah, the biggest thing I was making sure none of these are statins.
Statins.
She's not on statins, right? No, good. Thank God for that.
Not to my knowledge, mate. I told her to tell me everything she's on. That's what she sent. So I'll double check.
Statins are horrible drugs. I could ask. I obviously again, I'm not a pharmacist. Know a little bit because I'm the son of a pharmacist. So I can ask my mum about these a little bit. She might be able to shed some light, and I'll drop you a message. But yeah, I think you're right in terms of keeping the protein moderate. She'd struggle to digest it with all the stress she's got in the system anyway. Even if it wasn't impacting the kidneys. So I'd say that keep protein moderate. Make sure that you're crazy low carb. Keep fats high. And then just try and work. The biggest things is going to be the drinking and smoking, right? So you're just going to try and slowly work those down.
Yeah.
So, going back to the habits.
I started by asking like, how many would you have when you go out? And she was like, oh, I used to have like 8 or 10. I was like, right, how many do you want to agree to have? Like, and then she's like, well, I can have like 2. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's a good start. Trying to attack it head on is not going to happen. But then she struggles to drink water. So I was like, okay, cool. Here's the rule. When you go out to drink, you have a pint of water in between every single one. That way you can hit your goal and still have a fun social time out. And I'm kind of trying
I remember find the cue. So when it comes to cigarettes are easier than alcohol, right? Because alcohol is very social. Cigarettes to a degree, but less so these days. But like, what is the reason she goes and grabs a cigarette?
Oh, it's stress, mate. She works for the British Embassy where people die abroad and sorts out all that shit. So like quite a horrible job like to do. She sometimes has to fly across and sort out things. So huge stress job. But what we've started to do is replace that with, all right, if it's nice outside and there's daylight, because she's from the Caribbean, get your fucking self outside and get some sun because like it'll feel a lot better. So we try to replace that cue of smoke going for a walk or going on the treadmill. And if the weather's shit, as in you can't smoke inside, go on the treadmill, just 10 minutes, then come back in again. So she doesn't sit away from her desk between like 8 and 6. So like we're just trying to work on a shitload of lifestyle stuff to begin with. And hopefully that then affect that. But I just wanted to make sure that I don't do any harm by putting her on anything that I do. So
yes, that's the thing, right? Like you see a lot of like times. And I will do this to a degree. Like you've got the nutrient guide and the supplement guide for a reason, but I see a lot of people that go into these sort of things when they talk about high blood pressure and kidney issues and menopause, and they go really down the functional medicine route. And I'm just like, none of this stuff will work if someone's getting 2 hours of sleep per night and then wants to pull their hair out. Now I get the reason why I touch it on it.
Sleep shit.
You can't. Sometimes you can't change the lifestyle. Like they're not willing to. So a supplement can help take the edge off. But on the flip side of that, right, nothing's going to be as effective if the lifestyle's all over the place, right? So the basics work. I think when you're looking at supplementation, if we know stress is going to have a big impact here, right? We're going to be looking at potentially foods that let me drive the nutrient guide up.
Well, I put a couple of things in there, like you said. So a lot of the fat stuff, like the carbs aren't too high. I thrown a little bit of dark chocolate in there, will help with magnesium, in with her porridge and things. you know, just trying to. I got a feedback of her like, hey, what foods do you actually like to eat? And then she was like, well, this, and this, and we made the meal guide around that. So
perfect. Yeah, you might be looking at things like, let me find it. Things that might help with like dopamine, because she's obviously like she's you see the dopamine has that curve a little like blood sugar, right? So we have this spike up when we let's use her example, she has a cigarette, and then it will crash. So the bigger the spike, the bigger the crash. If we can then have certain things like that potentially can help with dopamine. So again, you've also already got the dark chocolate, but things like this might help take the edge off that.
Yeah, we got spinach, got eggs, we got some nuts in as well, and we got bananas or blueberries. So kind of like I have the banana.
And then as regards to supplementation, you know, like again, like just I'm trying to revert back to the supplement guide just purely because you can go back and have a look at this afterwards.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to remember what we said on this call. So when it comes to stress, immune system, endocrine system, blood sugar management, cardiovascular health, mental health, we're not looking at GABA, although GABA sufficient supplements might help her hugely. Central nervous system, right? You might look at something like these, throw in a bit of rhodiola and ashwagandha, just help her buffer cortisol.
Yeah, ashwagandha was on my list of like secondary things once she's got the initial, because again, chucking the kitchen sink at her straight away would probably just massively overwhelm it.
You want to see what she can do from a lifestyle perspective first before you add something. Like, it doesn't mean that if she can't do this, that's like this, that you don't add it. Actually, it might be the reason she can't do this. Then, like, you know, she's not doing a lot of stuff. Let's just try and add a little supplementation to try and take the edge off it. But you also don't want to shoot yourself in the foot from a lifestyle perspective. By giving her too much now, like see what she can do, and then decide whether you add.
Magnesium. Next one with ashwagandha, and then if I can, I'll go down to the next one, kind of like a bit by bit.
Yeah, and then probably I'd say after that, I'd probably get a B vitamin. Sorry, omega. We're gonna be later.
Yeah, but it's kind of because the omega is so far spread. Like that's already kind of up there as my first two to get people to take if their health's in a shit situation anyway, because it's so easy. I'm like, cool, morning, night. That's all you need to remember, that, you know, like put it in your diary, whatever. Then I'll work out and build out from that, and depending on what they can do, man. But yeah, awesome, mate. That was probably one of my biggest questions, mate. Cool. I've got the only other thing is just the guy with mobility, but I'm just trying to regress him down to some floor movements. He's my big guy, which is also actually her husband. So they are both in a fucking shit state, like real bad. But it's cool because they are doing it together, so they should kind of bounce off and work.
Yeah, at least is not one person impacting the other. The other person's getting the takeaways and
so just looking like he just wants to internally rotate and push out of his shoulders all the time. So getting him to retract and keeping his elbows pinned in. He works he's basically a carpentry maker by trade. So like I just think everything to him is in all the time. Every tools he's using is all like basically like his external ability to like do anything like that. It's just he's massively hunched. He's basically like that, like normally, but he's a big guy. So trying to open up his chest and stuff and getting some thoracic movements in and getting some like a rear delt rope pulls to open him up and things like that. That's what we've done. Well, so I've had to like move him down to an incline so he can actually press.
That's wise. Yeah, and I think when it comes to like if you feel like he's over pressing on pressing movements, right? That could also just be a cue, right? Because a lot of times people think, right, I need to push to ceiling, and it's that cue. If I was trying to push far away from me, I'm going to do this, right? So I quite like cues like imagine, you know, like those leg presses where the plate doesn't move, the seat moves backwards.
Yeah.
I want to imagine, like, I often get people to do this on a bench press, like think it's similar to that. And I want you to try and push yourself to the floor.
Yeah, that's a good cue.
Could I get my elbow straight while moving the bar as little distance as humanly possible? So if I'm moving a dumbbell press, I'm trying to sneak my elbows underneath.
Yeah. Because he struggles to lock them out.
Another great thing you can potentially do, 2 seconds, I'm going to ball one along towel. So like, if you rolled, I haven't got much space here, but let me just try this. If you rolled up a towel, like, I'll do this. This is badly, but obviously you do it better, like this. Lie this down on the bench and get him to lie on it like it's his spot, like it's lying on his spine. That will give him an external reference to pull his shoulder blades around.
Yeah, it's very similar to what they do with the foam roller, isn't it? When you see a lot of their, like hypertrophy coach and all that, they'll do that where they put the foam roller.
So if you think that, you can go, but it doesn't impact stability like the foam roller does.
Yeah.
So if you think on the way down, I want you to pull your shoulder blades around the towel. As you come up, I want you to push yourself and try and crush the towel.
Yeah.
That's a good stuff. With lower body, if you think of what, and it's not always the case, this could be genetic structure, whatever. If you think of why someone's hunched, right? They're trying to keep their balance over midfoot. So what you'll find is he's probably, if you found out where his center of mass is, he's probably forward from his midfoot, right?
Oh, hugely.
So maybe things like front foot elevated split squats might be a good example here, because front foot elevated split squats will allow you to shift your center of mass back, and he gets used to sitting back. So that's something you can work on with the hip, and then we've got a few things to hopefully work on with the actual pressing exercise and help you now.
Yeah. I've got him at heel elevated goblet squats at the moment, so he can kind of like front load, because he couldn't back load at the moment. He ain't got the range. Like he can't actually get far behind him, although that is getting better and better.
And while that's a great way to squat, it does still shift your center of mass forward. So I would have, like, if you're using that as your bilateral squat, which I think is the right call, offset that with a front foot elevated split squat his other day for his unilateral squat would be a good idea, because that front foot elevation shifts him backwards.
Yeah, because he doesn't have hamstrings enough. You can see it, like, so if you think loaded.
So if you think, if I'm here, right, and that's my center of mass, you can't properly see it, but I'm coming forward.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if all of a sudden, if I go rear foot elevated split squat, it puts me further this way. If I go front foot elevated split squat, it shifts me back this way. So it just allows him to shift back into his heel a little bit more.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Well, how much of a elevation would you use on that front? Like, would it be an angled front one, or would it be like a box? Like a tiny wedge.
I think just exactly.
I can try that with him, because what at the moment I've got him using, because like he's so unstable, he getting on and off the floor is even a problem. Like to do that, so I've got him using like a couple of poles at the moment when he goes into a lunge.
Yeah, or even a rack.
Yeah, like
he can hold onto the rack and pull himself up if you need to.
Yeah. So like that's where we start. That's a good idea, because if I do it elevated with the rack, he'll feel more comfortable and safer to drop himself down in and only use it as guidance. So
and you might find it depends, because when, like, when people think that's like, you see old Charles Pollock and stuff, they say front foot elevated split squat is the easiest one, then they go flat, then they go rear foot. I think there's more nuance to that, right? Because if you actually think about what a front foot elevation is, we're creating someone that can't get the range of motion to the floor. We give them more range of motion. So is it sort of a balance issue, where your weight is shifted, or is it a strength issue? If it's a strength issue, flat is the starting point, right?
Yeah.
Or if it's a strength issue, go really high front foot elevated, start with, and then work down. So if you, for example, here, I'm going to try and do this on, so I can see the edge of the long sofa. Right. But if you think, I don't know if you can probably see me, but if I'm here, see how high my leg is?
Yeah. There's
no way I'm getting my knee to the floor. So I'm not even going to try. This is now just a forward and backwards motion.
Yeah.
So that is now taking less of that load and still having that shift back. And then you can slowly come down, and then go from there to flat. And then where you go after that depends on what the goal is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because like this dude's 142 kilos, mate, at 6'4". He's a big dude. He's got long legs, and he's got focal muscle mass on the legs. It's all around his midsection. So he doesn't have the strength. Equally, he doesn't have the skill aspect of being on one leg either. So like, just trying to train that.
And a high foot leg press will do a similar thing.
He can't get in and out the leg press. The one here, mate.
That's fair. That's fair.
But otherwise, that would be my next case. Is as he gets down to like maybe 130 like ish, we'll try to get on it again, or try to use maybe a 45. But like his ability to even get down and back up again, it's not worth the embarrassment to put him on that, mate. It crushes confidence.
Yeah, totally fair. Step ups could be another option, but obviously just go low, just make sure that, because he's got a lot of impact coming down on that back foot. So just work some like mid shin step ups could be another good shout.
Yeah, that gives me some stuff to work with him on, mate. Cheers.
No problem at all. Anyone else, guys? Can you please tell me about creatine loading? I can tell you. Well, yeah, I can. Anything specific about creatine loading, Sharon, or just in general?
I just want to know if it's worthwhile or not, because there's loads of studies saying that it's got no benefits. So I'm like, well, why would you do it?
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, there's technically benefit, but is it worth the benefit? Probably not. So it's like the parallel I would say, fat is lost when I promise you I'm coming back to this. Fat is lost when insulin is low, right? It doesn't mean all your clients should do keto dieting, because insulin will be low at some point in the day if you're in a caloric deficit, right? Because you're using up all the fuel in the system, and then you've got insulin low, and it's going to tap into stored reserve. So I could get insulin low quickly by going into a keto diet, and maybe start chipping into stored fat stores a little bit quicker than a mixed diet with carbohydrates. But if we zoomed out over a year, how much difference is that really going to be, right? Like, yes, in a week, if I did a study of people in a week, would they lose more fat in a low carb ketogenic diet versus a mixed diet? Probably yes. If I did that same study over 3 months, probably not, right? Same thing with regards to creatine loading. So creatine loading, like creatine needs to be saturated into the cells for it to really start working. And for anyone that's just like not really know what creatine essentially does, for people that know that process of making ATP, right? When we use energy, so adenosine triphosphate, we have an adenosine molecule, and we have 3 phosphate molecules popping off. Essentially what happens when we create a demand for energy to move, to wave my hands, to do the John Cena, you can't see me sign, whatever you want to do, right? We break off one of those phosphate molecules. And then creatine is part of that process to resynthesize ADP, so a diphosphate, into ATP. So if you think about what it essentially does, it potentially can make you slightly more efficient in terms of a metabolic rate, because you make ATP faster. Might give you a little bit more physical energy if it makes ATP faster. But in a nutshell, it's if you like, let's say you're doing 3 sets of 8, you might get 3 sets of 9. Now that might not sound very much, but if you do 1 extra rep per set per workout per every workout for a year, this adds up to a lot of total tonnage across the year. Now, if over a week we creatine loaded, we would get our muscle saturated faster, and we would potentially get that benefit sooner. So if we study people, one person creatine loaded, one person took 5 grams a day, we'd probably find that person would actually have more benefits in their workout and see more performance improvements than the person that didn't take it. If we zoomed out over a year, we're going to get to the same point anyway. It just takes a few days extra. And when we're looking at like a year's worth of training, it's probably negligible. So probably the biggest thing that creatine loading actually impacted was your wallet, because you needed to buy a new tub faster. So I would normally just do 5 to 10 grams per day, consistently for a long period of time. Like most supplements, it's not exactly like it's not like an anabolic steroid, right? It's not something like that change in a week, if you loaded it, is going to be so like visually relevant that like doesn't really matter. Does that sort of answer your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering for a couple of clients who are flagging, just to see them through to Christmas. I was like, is it going to have an effect, or is it going to be placebo? I don't know. So that type.
What when you say flagging, what are they flagging in?
They're just tired, they're fatigued. Normally, if it'd been any other time of the year, I'd probably take them into the new phase of training, but in their minds, they want to start the new phase in January, because it's January. Yeah. So I'm like, well.
So like, there's obviously the question you want to ask is a bit why people are tired, right? So if we're looking at things that, and I'll come back to the supplement route as well. If you want to just a pick me up during this period of time where you know sleep's going to be worse, nutrition quality is going to be worse, right? And so like the obvious shit is probably out the window to a degree with these kind of clients. You could manage training volume. You could just do the same program you're doing, but maybe bring volume down slightly less. They come in, they do the shit, they get out. I quite like a reduction of training volume if people are busy through December, because they can come in, get the workouts done, feel good about themselves, feel accomplished while out spending hours and hours and hours in the gym, which means that's the difference between someone's got like a 60 to 90 minute workout and they don't achieve that, they feel bad, and that ends up spiraling into poor nutrition choices over this time of year. Whereas if you do like, right, let's go in, let's do 1 to 2 top sets per exercise and let's just get out. It's like when you train on holiday. If you do a 20-minute workout and then you get out and enjoy your day, you feel accomplished, you've done the 20-minute workout. So I quite like could you pull volume, just let them have a little bit of a break over this time without doing too much. Exactly. Change rep range to quick sessions, more pump, less strength. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'd go first. then as regards to supplementation, if you want stuff that probably is going to have the biggest impact, you're probably looking at B vitamins, like a B complex. That has more of an impact on overall ATP production than creatine monohydrate does. Because creatine monohydrate is a bit more workout specific. Other than that, I don't know, unless they're super stressed, caffeine and theanine. And I wouldn't do what Newtonic does, like they put them together. I would have caffeine in the morning, theanine in the evening. Personally, I don't dislike the idea. I get the logic of like having theanine with caffeine because it gives you the stimulant effect without the jitters. But they are to me, maybe I'm really stupid and being wrong here. But like to me, it's a yin and yang sort of thing. So I quite like the idea of like theanine is essential nervous system down regulator. It's a precursor to GABA, which helps calm you. Right? Take that before bed, allow you to have better sleep. Take caffeine in the morning rather than taking something that ups you and with a downer. It's like a vodka Red Bull. Doesn't know what your heart rate's doing. It's coming and going. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's good to know.
Perfect. By the way, I'm going to take. I'm just whilst I remember before everyone goes, I'm actually going to take a picture of your question at the start, Shona, and wind her up. Cool. Any other questions, guys? We've got plenty of time. Everyone's going quiet. Cal, got any questions, dude? Client struggles? Anything?
No, I'm just wondering what you guys doing like for the marketing in December. I'm just trying to, just do as much as I can to have a nice drive and good start of the year.
Okay.
I'm just
yeah. What's your offer, Carol?
Like right now.
We lost him.
Yeah, where's the most important bit for a whole
most important
conversation?
bit, literally, right. The most important bit, we've lost him entirely. What timing, eh?
Oh God. Can't write this shit.
I would open the floor to answer his question, but now I'm a little bit concerned that if you've lost it. Oh yeah, he's back. We lost all of that offer. You were about to tell us that he froze.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, froze.
So you're back now. So what's your offer?
No, like I'm gonna put like an intake for a January, and right now I'm creating like a post for a giveaway.
Okay.
Just to have more drive on the profile, and then I will post like an intake for a January.
I'll tell you what I'm doing because only it might give you an idea. More so than do this, Carol, because we know that doesn't fucking work. At the moment, I'm running not only a 7-day free trial, but I'm actually anyone that signs up, I'm giving the rest of December for free to then start January 1st. Because as we know, you say fat loss to someone in December, they're like, fuck off. They ain't started. Like you might get a couple, and I've had a couple of people like start just at the start of December or in 8 November to get in before that. But no one is starting a new fitness program in December unless they're already in that space, which they're probably going to be a higher level. So me and the business mentor we work on, we know this. Like he's known this for a long time. So he's like, if you're going to do this, get them to sign up now with the precipice of starting and paying in January. Okay, so the groundwork you're doing and conversations and marketing you're putting yourself out now, the offer has to be enticing, not to start now, but to start in January. So if you get those people already interested and kind of like put, I can get the rest of this month for free kind of thing as well. Like it lets them, hey, you can have this, it's free, there's no pressure, there's no boundaries, there's no expectation, there's no barrier to entry. Straight away, we'll set this up, and I do it through Stripe where I give them like a 15-day free trial, but I take their credit card details and get them ready to start 1st of January. So they know that's coming. They can relax, have a nice Christmas with kind of like, oh yeah, I'm starting it. It's all booked in. I'm loaded onto the app. I'm part of the community. I've got that to look forward to on the 1st of January. So you're not scrambling in January going, oh, January offer. It's like, no. I had my offer in December. I'm already ready. My guys are in. Like, let's push forwards now. And you won't be then feel like you're running around trying to get the same type of clients that everyone else is with a January new starter crowd, because that becomes a very competitive space very quickly, doesn't it? We all know this if you've been in the industry for a while. So that's what I'm doing now. Like I'm not pressing the side up now button. I'm saying hey, like if you want to start in January, now's the time. Like starting people getting into future vision calls. That's just what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I like that.
Just getting
you also get a deposit.
deposits and just securing people.
Yeah, exactly. What's everyone else doing, guys? Is anyone else trying anything different in December? Well, not so much. Kyle, what are you doing?
I was actually going to ask you something. You made I don't know what call it was on. You was talking about Christmas suggestions and solutions. Which one was that on again? Because I wanted to have a look at that, but I couldn't find it.
Deep dive section. Go to the bottom of the deep dive section. It'll probably be one of the more
Deep
recent
dive.
ones.
Right,
Yeah, to be like not the latest one, but the one before. It also, if you go onto the main dashboard, you have recent calls.
Yeah.
If you go to recent calls, it's either going to be on the main page, or you might just have to click load more like once, and it'll be there.
Okay. Because I didn't know if it was like a specific name or.
I mean, navigating Christmas. I think it's what it is.
Okay. All right. I was having a look for it the other day, but
let me see if I can find it. Yeah. 2 seconds. Let me get
because there's a different call which just said like the date, but I didn't know if it was like a different. I couldn't remember which one it was on.
So if you go to, let me bring it up on the dashboard. This would be similar to your dashboard, right? So, a better view should be here. Navigating Christmas deep dive.
Right. Perfect. All right.
That's the one.
Take some notes from it then.
I had my call with the guys the other week actually with that.
How'd it go?
So, good. We had 4 people turn up. To be honest with you, like most people, they just want to keep smashing through it. But my guys at the moment, that's probably the type of people that's what I would do. I don't really take a day. I might take a deload, but they're all like, nah, business as usual. I enjoy Christmas and we'll get cracking back onto it again. So I've got that recorded and I've uploaded it into the community Facebook group as well. So people that didn't want to do it or watch it or couldn't make it can get onto it.
Yeah. That makes sense. I think
I've got another question because Simon, you mentioned something about the podcast. Like, for example, between us guys, what would be your suggestion like for the topics? Because that would be like kind of like taking off the pressure from us, like even thinking about the content. Like you could just record the podcast, make some kind of some small reels, shorts.
I'll actually show you this. I use Riverside for mine, right? It's a little bit of a cost, so maybe we wouldn't start with this. I'll start with maybe recording a Zoom call and see if you actually like podcasting. But this is the back end of my podcast. If I want to log me in. So if I go to self-made podcast recording, but these are the ones I've recorded. So let's go to Dr. Carrie Jones's episode. We've got the full episode here, and then you can click AI clips. So I've got all these clips here that have just been made by AI, and I can put captions on them, and I can post them. So that's great. And it's just like a little recording studio, a little bit like Zoom. People log into it, and you just click record. And what's great about it, it records you from your end and them from their end. So even if the Wi-Fi or internet drops, it should still have a high quality recording on both parties. So that's what I use. And as regards to topics, that's up to you, right? You can talk about training, you can talk about nutrition, you can talk about client struggles, you can do I know someone that does a live in-person podcast with their clients, and then gets a client result, they do a podcast with them, which now means they have tons of little mini video testimonials that they can drip feed over the course of time.
What I was thinking about doing some kind of live on the Instagram at the end of the day and just try to connect with people.
Yeah, like lives on Instagram are good. The only thing to just bear in mind, lives on Instagram are a little bit like question and answer box on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Expect your first like 5-10 will be like you chatting to yourself. Maybe one of your clients will jump on. Maybe one of us will jump on. But it's like, and I'm not going to decide that. But if you're consistent. For sake of example, like Vince Pitstick at Metabolic Mental University does a Metabolic Monday. So every Monday he goes live. Now everyone knows it. They know the time. No, it's one. They know the start time. They know what's in store. They know there's giveaways. Like there's all sorts of things to give away at this. So like that, I'm probably going to do one and give away a level 1 course to somebody. Like who asked the most questions or something like this. I don't know. And start doing something like that on a regular basis. But if you did live, you could also live with somebody. So it's like if you go live and then let's say like you were going live with me, I just come onto your live, request to join, and you just click accept, and then all of a sudden we're like a mini podcast above each other.
Yeah.
But like with a podcast, it could be as easy as if there's someone on here that also wants to start a podcast that's a little bit intimidated by it. Chat, like drop each other a message outside of this. Just you've all got each other's WhatsApp numbers from the group, and just go, hey, you keen to start a podcast? Then just arrange a time on Zoom, click record, like literally like what we're doing here, and then just someone take the reins of like whoever's slightly better at editing, or you don't even need to edit a podcast really, but whoever's slightly better at uploading, a bit more organized, they take the reins and actually posting it somewhere, and then the other person just comes and has a chat, and it's easy content because it feels natural. It doesn't feel like you talking to camera. But like for example, Kyle, you should start a podcast. If you're nervous on camera, do a podcast for your reels. Saves you the job.
Yeah, it's like nervous. Like reels are reels. Like I said last time when I went to shop, it was different, but it's just something new. And like you said, it's a opportunity for us to collaborate with others and just open a little bit like the reach and stuff. So if why not to try? Like I'm really open. Like I like doing this stuff. I like doing live streams. I used to when I was younger, I used to like play games and do Twitch all the time. So I liked doing stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. So why if you like it, lean into it.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Like get the first few out. Don't overthink of the format. Don't think of the structure. Don't think what you do. Just start doing them. And as you start doing them, you'll start coming up with ideas of how do I differentiate my lives that people want to join my live.
Yeah.
I can't really give you advice on what's great on that because I've not had a live that's gone like huge, but like I'm certainly not worried about doing them. Like in Riverside, you can link it to Instagram, so you can go live on Instagram. I haven't played around with it yet, but you can on that platform I showed you. Go live on Instagram, so what I want to do is be able to like go to my whiteboard and stuff like that whilst I'm on live on Instagram, which would be really good. I just haven't worked out how to do it yet, but I know you can. So you guys, any last questions before I let you guys get on with your Tuesday?
I've got one question.
Go for it.
Studies. What are a reliable study? Like, what would we look for to making sure? Because I know there's a lot of like bias studies and stuff like that. I know you put something. You actually put something up on your story, I believe it was, and you were talking over on someone creating a podcast or something. I don't know. And yeah, I just wanted to know what would we look out for reliable sources.
Now, I would. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
I would like. I could give you some stuff, but start by watching this.
Oh, reading. Okay.
Yeah, like that will give you everything you need to know. The biggest things you sort of want to look for when it comes to study reliable. Well, there's two things: is the study reliable, or even if the study is reliable, is it relevant? That's the two questions you have to ask. So, is the study reliable? Right? Is there any conflicts of interest? At the bottom of it, you'll see conflicts of interest. So, were they funded by anything? Right? That's the first thing. Second thing is what's the sample size? We tested 3 people. Pretty irrelevant, right? The next thing is what we call a p-value. So the amount of zeros after the decimal point, right? The more reliable. So the p-value of like this study was like 0.0000005 is probably quite a reliable, like the result is statistically significant. If it's 0.5, the result is probably not statistically significant. So if you read the abstract, it would tell you this x equals y, but x equals y with not very much certainty, as opposed to if it's 0.00005, x equals y with a fairly high degree of certainty. Right? They're the big things. And then that's if the study is reliable. Then the next thing is if the study could be reliable but might not be relevant. So you notice that things like Menno Henselman. That's why I did a post recently about Menno Henselman's about bench press is better. What's it? Well, I need to find it.
So I actually do follow him.
I like Menno. I like Menno. The problem is that people blindly follow Menno. It's just abstract. So like, and people don't read the research. So
what's the difference between different so like random control studies and stuff like that? Like, because I always thought that was the least biased study, like type.
It is. Yeah, it is. But because there's a lot of things that have impact around a control trial. You can also look at things like a meta-analysis where they're looking at like a research review of different papers. That's often very good. But again, that's in that video. But where's the one I was looking for? Bench pressing, right? So bench pressing is far more effective for your pecs than triceps, new study finds, right? So this is muscle hypertrophy response across 4 muscles involved in the bench press, randomized 10-week intervention. So what do we notice from this? So first of all, randomized control trial, so it's probably a good quality study, but we're looking at over a 10-week period. So the actual period of time they tested is relatively short. We need to consider that, right? Would that be the same over a year? Who knows? Untrained men. So that's another thing to bear in mind, right? So if we're looking at untrained men, right, they're more prone to just everything growing, right? And I'm gonna come back here. We use into things. I'm gonna look at the study first, and then I'm just gonna quickly come back and double back and say, like, here's the thing you got to consider, though, that makes the studies in general a bit fucking useless. Like also an MRI. MRI will test muscle activation, but it won't really tell you necessarily growth. It will just tell you like this person's pecs were stimulated, right? That's great. The pecs grew 20% on the front delts, 15% triceps. So it's not a bad study. I'm just trying to find out. Okay, it doesn't really tell you too much about it in this page. But here's the big thing, right? Let's use this guy, for example, right? This person here, right? Let's say his rib cage was slightly more steep, or his rib cage was slightly more flat. That changes the entire thing. So this is why, and again, and Will agree with me with this because we've both done RCS, right? We could do a study and go, bench press is great for pecs. Who are we talking about here? We're talking about people on the bell curve. We're talking about people in the center of the bell curve. What if you get a client that has the world's flattest rib cage? What if you've got a client that's got a rib cage so big he can balance a pint on his rib cage? If those two people train together, right, the person with the massive rib cage will get off that bench and go, oh my God, my pecs are so sore. The person with the really flat rib cage will get up and go, oh, my delts are fucking fried, but I don't feel my pecs at all, right? The bench press, the volume, the sets, the reps, the load, all the same. Individual structures change that game. Someone with short arms, let's say I've got short arms and I hit my chest there, right? Now, I haven't gone through a bigger range of motion in my triceps. I haven't got that much elbow flexion. Look at me. Like there's so many factors in individual difference that changes that thing. So it's a bit of a, when I see studies like that, I'm just a little bit like, who the fuck cares? Does it help Susan, who I've got in front of me? Does it help Pigeon Chest Steve? No. Like, I don't need a study to be able to look at someone's structure and go, right, cool, what's going to allow me to get a better line of pull on the pec than the delt?
So it's like person dependent.
Very, 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 very person dependent with studies like this. It doesn't mean like it's useless, but it's again like we should always base our opinion on what we do off research, but understand research is we should learn sound principles before we learn sound bites. Understand how the body works, both from anatomy and physiology, biomechanics, functional nutrition, hormones. Learn that and use research to go, right, what's actually significant in practice? Whereas what a lot of people do is they take research as gospel, don't understand what's going on and go, why is my client's pecs not growing? I've given them bench and Menno said bench was good. Well, like, who are we talking about here? Right? Are we talking about Ben Bukolski? Yeah, have you seen Ben Bukolski's fucking chest? Like, if you ever, there's a great video, I'll send it you after this. Tom Purvis, the owner of RTS, breaks down the bench press. But actually, I think it's a 2-part series, so I'll put both of them in the group for you guys afterwards, where he actually shows a really flat ribcage lifter versus like Ben Bukolski, and it's like it's not the same. It's not the same movement. It's not the same exercise. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'll send you that. Hopefully, that will give you something. But yeah, anything else, guys? Carol, go for it.
Yeah, I've got one more question, Simon. I've got within my kind of like community and space I'm working, I'm cooperating with one physio, and she's also a yoga teacher. and I'm planning to do an addition into the coaching. She's gonna be doing like a live classes and every Wednesday for the people. But what I was thinking, like to record those classes on the Zoom and just create some kind of space when people can go back and just watch those videos. This is gonna be like kind of like another, extra for people with active subscription. Have you got any suggestion, like what kind of like maybe some website setup, something that I can just give people like a login and passwords, like what you guys using?
So you want like a membership portal, but nothing too expensive.
Yeah.
Notion. Ask Dean about Notion. Or actually, if you're willing to spend a bit of money and you don't want to set this shit up yourself, search Joshua Mark Fit, this guy on Instagram. Drop him a DM. Say you're from SMU. I'm interested in the Notion page. He will look after you. He builds them for people. I'll actually show you. Actually, let me quickly show you. I've got Instagram up. So let me see if I can find his main page. He's got a page for it. Zeus. I think it's Zeus Tech. Yeah, Zeus Tech Systems is his page for this. So for sake of this is like a sample. This is Stephen, who's on the portal. This is his sort of tab. So this is what he makes for people. Little Notion pages that's like little cheap. I think it's like 200 quid. It's not much, and he'll set up all your. I want to see if he's got a video of him going through something rather than just pictures. But yeah, he makes a bunch of these. Has he got But like, if you look at like say called education information, look, it looks pretty good. Like it doesn't look like what the SMU portal looks like, but like there you go, Will, it's on the call today. But like you don't pay what I'm paying, dude, for something that people aren't going to really use as much. Like make it like if we go, let's look at a few. This guy's no, it's just I'm trying to find this. He must have a video of someone going through it. If he sent me a message with this, he sent me a video of one of them. So I put together something for like an old lead magnet. No, I don't think I've got anything there. But yeah, go and search this guy. Say you came from SMU. He'll look after you.
All right.
Awesome, man. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll catch you soon.
Cheers. Bye bye.